So let's take a look at this. How to access O'Kelly resources. These are basically very short videos that walk you through the process I'm doing now, but these are much more shorter. This process that I'm doing is a lot more lengthier, but if you just have to take a look at it, these walk you through. You're really going to find that the APA Citation Center, all these tabs are going to be very useful to help you with your citing, particularly when you get to your blogs and magazines and when you get to journal articles that have 6, 7, and 8 authors. I have examples of in-text citation because you all know, or you, as you matriculate through your programs, you will learn. In order for you to write a well-written research paper, you have to have in-text citations. That's just the way it is. But when you have your in-text citations, you want to make sure that they are perfect and that they are right. For those of you who are planning to go to grad school, just learn your citation style of choice now. And if you stay in social sciences, of course, it's going to be APA. All right, so let's get to the main page here. All right, so the main page, I want us to take a look at some of these databases. One of my favorites that I use a lot, of course, is CINAHL. Now, let me see if my links have worked because I've been having some problems with my links. Okay, so that one actually worked. Wonderful. All right, so I select CINAHL. One of the nice things about this database is that, as you can see, it allows you to search multiple databases simultaneously. When you do your research, guys, be smart. Be smart about your research and just try to make sure you're using everything you have at your disposal so you can cut down your research time. So I always say search smart and not hard, right? All right, so CINAHL, and if you just want to know what each little database is about, just scroll over the little comment box, and as you see, the abstract will pop up to let you know what kind of articles you can get in each of these. So, since this is a health class, I'm going to select all of the health databases because these are really good databases, and you want some information from them. Let's also take a look. There's another one. Here's another health database. This one is really good, the Nursing Academic Edition. When you're doing your research, particularly for health articles, make sure you remember to do the cite databases. Guys, these databases have a lot of information about articles, about research, whatever you need. Don't forget the cite databases. All right, so I've gotten several databases here. So now I'm going to do my search. So I recommend that you start at the advanced search. And the reason being, you can put in more searching parameters at this screen. So I'm going to stick with our topic. I got to type it in. Imagine that. Okay, so this is health disparities. Here we go. Let's do health disparities in the United States. And you see, we have 1,412 articles. Well, we don't have time to look through this many articles. So let me show you how we're going to shrink this search. First, we want full text because you want to make sure you can access the full text. So I'm going to select full text. And you see that 1,000 shrunk to 841. I'm still not done. I actually want peer reviewed. Your professors are always going to ask you in most instances, can you give me articles that are peer reviewed? That means that these articles have met academic standards. They have been vetted to meet academic standards, and they had to go through a process to get published. All right, so 569 is still too many. So if you come over here, right, and I'm going to just hit 211 because I don't want research from 1993. I kind of want articles that are fairly recent. So I'm just going to hit 211 and that shrunk to 230. So now I have a good little bit of articles that I can look at for my research. So what I'm going to do, all you have to do, let's say I'm interested in this article or this looks interesting. Take your mouse and scroll over the magnifying glass and a little bit more information will populate about what this article is about. Now you all have to remember when you talk about the abstract. Remember the abstract, and that's normally what generally pops up here. The abstract is just a short version of what the article is about. So you can take a look at the abstract, and then you can figure out, hey, do I want this article or do I not? And let's say I'm interested. Let's take a look at this one. All right, so I'm interested in this article. I'm going to scroll down here. Okay, I'm interested in this article. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my folder, because at the end of my search, then I can go back and print it and email it to myself, and I'm going to walk you through that. All right, so let's take a look. I'm interested in this article, and I'm just going to scroll signs for help. Let's say I'm interested in this one, and I'll do one more. And I am interested in this one. All right, so I have 4 articles, right, in my folder. So now I'm ready. I'm done with my research for this for right now. I want to email these articles, and I want to send them to my WSSU email. What you can do is come up to the folder view, or you can actually scroll all the way down here to folder view. Either one. Select folder view, and now these are the 4 articles, right, that I have selected for my research. So I'm going to hit the select button, and now I want to email these articles. I want to send these articles to my WSSU email. I'm just going to come over here and hit email. I recommend that you use your WSSU email for all your research. Don't use Gmail, Hotmail, or whatever else is out there, Yahoo. Make sure you use WSSU, because in your WSSU there's a proxy built in that you're tied to the university, and when you get a persistent link, when you take a look at your articles, they will open. Sometimes if you use other email addresses, sometimes they just don't work. And I will walk you through and show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to put in my email address, right? And I'm going to say this is just practice because I know what it is. But of course, you can be specific and you can say health articles. Make sure you leave the formatting as is because it needs to stay rich text. This is the part that students absolutely love over here. So let me show you what this looks like. Of course, your citation of choice is APA. So you want to select APA. This is my citation of choice. Now I'm going to hit send. So you will always get an email confirmation, and I'm going to hit continue. So let's give it a few seconds, and then I should be getting those articles. And then we will take a look at them in a minute. But let's see, so that, because this is just one database, I do want to show you one other database. So let's give it a few, and let's let that populate. While we're waiting to get that email from EBSCO, I want to show you another database. So I'm going to close out of here, and here they come. So you see I named it Health Articles. So if I select here, this is what that looks like, right? So Health Articles. I'm going to walk you through a process that I know a lot of you may do, but if you do it, I don't want you to do it. I want you to do it the right way. Something else I forgot to show you. When you sign on to the databases from home, once you get past the database link from your, especially if you don't sign in for Blackboard, you will have to put in your username. And remember, your username is just whatever your username is minus the @rams.wssu.edu. And remember, your password is your banner ID. So this is, you have to get past the proxy in order to access any of our articles. All right, so let me get back to here. Oh, let's see, where was I? Where was I? All right, so I want to, I closed it. I want to show you ProQuest. This is another really good database. Hopefully the link will work. All right, so this is ProQuest Allied Health. I'm going to just do full text, of course. You know it has to be peer-reviewed. I'm going to put in my searching topic. Oh, God, I got to type it in again. Hold on. All right, so this is my topic, health disparities in the United States. I want you to take a look at this because as you can see, this database, the infrastructure is just a little different than the other. So now let's start shrinking some of these searches. Let me show you what that looks like. And let's do that. All right, so let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to just grab this little tick mark here. I'm going to slide it all the way over. I'm going to hit update. All right, and it's shrunk, but for the sake of this, since we have so many, let's say I only want to do 214. So get me down to 5,000. So if you take a look here, like I said, this infrastructure is a little bit different than the EBSCO database. So let's say I want to preview the article. All you have to do is select the preview and the abstract will pop up and you can figure out whether or not this article is something you're interested in. So I'm going to just grab a couple of these. So let's say I'm interested in some of these. Then I'm going to come up to email because I want to email these articles to my WSSU email. Always remember, for this particular database, you have to hit the bibliography box to make sure you are getting the very latest edition of APA, which is the 6th edition. So make sure you select the little box here so you can enable this link to work, and then you can go ahead and select the 6th edition. I'm going to put in my email address, and you have to put in your name. You can put in a message if you like. You don't have to, but that way so you can differentiate what these articles are, you should. I'm going to just say health articles. Now I'm all done. I'm going to hit continue. And I should be getting a little message about these articles as well. So now let me show you a common mistake that students do once they get their articles from the databases. And I don't want you all to make this mistake because if you do, you could lose points on your research paper. All right, so for example, so here they come now. So I'm going to open this one. And this is pretty much what it looks like, right? Now this is from ProQuest. So this is the article. This is just one. And it looks like they got all three. So what I'm going to do, I'm scrolling really fast because I'm really trying to get to, I want to get to the citation for this article. All right, so let me make sure I didn't pass it. Pass it up. Okay. These are all of the references. And that's another thing, guys. When you're doing your research, make sure you read the reference page because sometimes you can find articles in the reference page that lends itself to your research and you can use them. This is how you can cut down your research time. Now remember, the references, they have to meet the same quality as the other articles, meaning the references, meaning it has to be 2000, nothing older than 2010 or 11. So if my professor said 2010 was the cutoff, I know I cannot use this article because it's 2005. But however, there are articles here, 2010, that I know I can use. So think about that. Always look at the references. A lot of times students don't do that and you are spending way more time on research than you need to because you didn't look at the references. All right, so I'm trying to find this. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so this is my citation. Remember how we actually put it in the citation style? So I'm going to cut and paste some of these citations and I'm going to put it on a reference page, but I'm going to show you the common mistakes that students make when they are doing this. So let's open a Word document. So I got that reference. So now let me go and get my other references so we can take a look and you can see what that looks like. All right, so let's do this one. And I'm going to cut and paste this reference. Put that here. So this is reference number 2. All right, let me get the other one. This is going to be reference number 3. Because I do want to explain some things to you. And then let's do one more. This is going to be reference number 4. All right. So I think I'm done, right? I got my citations. We put them in APA, and this is my reference page. This is so wrong. It's wrong on so many levels, and let me explain why. Things that you have to remember when you're doing APA. I know it's boring, but you gotta know how to do it right because this impacts your grade. APA, four cornerstones that I like to call APA. Number one, it has to be 12 point times New Roman font, period. 12 point times New Roman font, period. It has to be double spaced, and your margin has to be a 1-inch margin, top, bottom, left, right. Now, for those of you who use Microsoft Word, if you just come to page, margins, layout design, normal layout is 1 inch, top, bottom, left, right. So if you just have it set on your normal layout, you will be fine when meeting the margins parameters of top, bottom, left, right. But make sure you check to make sure it's right. Another thing you have to remember, your references have to be alphabetized, all right? So let's clean this up because this is so not right. Number one, you do have to have the word references. References needs to be centered. So let's get here. It needs to be centered. It is not bolded or anything like that. And these need to be alphabetized. So I'm just going to do some switching here. I'm going to move that up D. And I'm alphabetizing, of course, by the last name of the citation. By the last name. Never juxtapose these names. You don't need to do that. If it comes with Hall as the first author, chances are this person is the primary researcher. That's why his name is first. So never juxtapose these names. Just let it fall as it is. So, all right. So we have Dankwa. So that one. So now I need to move Hall. So I'm just going to grab it. I'm going to move Hall. Hall needs to be number 2, right? And then we have Thorpe. Nope. So let's move him and put them right there. All right. So I am almost done. Another thing we have to do, guess what? It needs to be double spaced. So I'm just going to come here and I'm just going to double space it. Of course, I have an extra space in here just because of the formatting, but it needs to be double spaced. And I'm going to show you what an APA research reference page needs to look like. A couple of things I do want to bring to your attention. You see this little funky number here? This is called the DOI, which stands for Digital Object Identifier. That means, for all intensive purposes, this is the period for this particular article. If an article has a DOI, that means I can cut and paste this number, open a browser. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I can cut and paste this number, open a browser, put it in this browser, and the article, the abstract, should pop up, and here it is. The purpose of the DOI is to help researchers find the research article a whole lot faster. So if you have a citation and it has a DOI at the end, leave it. It is part of the citation. Another thing, as you can see, the databases do a really good job at this. The DOIs, there are no periods, so don't add a period. For all intents purposes, like I said, for APA, because APA is very ticky, the DOI is the period. So don't go through and say, oh, this needs a period. I need a period here. I need a period here. Don't do that because the DOI does not have a period at the end. So you don't add a period. Now, when you have, and all of these articles have a DOI except for this one. When you come across an article, if it doesn't have a DOI, right, make sure you put retrieved from the database. So I know this is from EBSCO, so I'm going to put retrieved from EBSCOhost database. And I need to put the link because you got this article from a database. If you have the DOI, you don't need to put retrieved from. But if there is no DOI and you got it from a database, you do need to put retrieved from. Some of the databases do a really good job. EBSCOhost does not put it at the end of their databases, but you need to. So you have retrieved from EBSCOhost database. And let me show you something else too. Let me see if I can get back to, I think I closed out of it. Let me show you one that we got from ProQuest. ProQuest will give you, actually that's not it. ProQuest will give you the link. All right, so let's come back here. And let's say for these articles, I want you to see what I'm referring to. So after hit cite, so as you can see how some of these, all of these look like they have a DOI. Here's one. So if you take a look here, this article does not have a DOI. However, since it doesn't have a DOI, you do have to put the link retrieved from Blasi Blasi. So if I were using this article, if I were to cut and paste this article and put it in my Word document, and of course clean it up, I do have to retrieve and the link. I think I closed out the link here and I could just put something here, but make sure you put that persistent link, and you can just grab it from the database, put that persistent link. If you get it from a database and if it does not have a DOI, you do have to put retrieved from. So if we go back to our little example here, as you can see, you see how this one has a DOI, so you don't need retrieved from. This one does not have a DOI, and that's why you have retrieved from. Same thing with this one. So as you start using some of the databases, you will get to know what their functionalities and capabilities are. EBSCOhost, for whatever reason, when they migrate their citations from the database to your email, they just choose not to put retrieve from, but you do have to do that and use your persistent, and just put the persistent link. So that's one of the things that you need to do, or you should do, so that you don't get points taken off on your research paper. So let's get back to our example here. All right, so I'm looking at this. This looks like it's almost right. However, when databases migrate over from their database to your email, if you ever see this, make sure you fix this, because this is wrong. There are no capitalizations in APA citing unless it is an acronym. That's it. So see how they have economic. Now, the only thing that needs to be alphabetized in all of this is the letter E, and of course United States, and that's just the first word. So this is totally wrong. So let's see, economic burdens of men's health. This is how it should look, and I'm just going to put the little part. So economic burden of men's health in the United. Okay, so you have to make sure, period. You have to make sure that the citation is right. The vendor or the database, they don't care if they have all caps. The only thing they're worried about is the formatting. But you have to make sure that that's right, because had you turned that in the way it was, you would have lost a ton of points because it's totally wrong. Your professor would have taken off. So I just wanted you to take a look. Sometimes these are the things that you have to go through to clean up your citations when you get them from the databases. It's okay to use the databases to help you with the citing. As a matter of fact, we want you to use the databases to help you with the citing because that's what we pay for. That's why we get that feature. But guys, just make sure you go in and clean it up. So I could tell you, just looking at this, we know that this is not Times New Roman, right? I could just delete all of this. All right, so we know this is not Times New Roman. Look at that, it's Verdana. So you would have to highlight this, make sure you make it Times New Roman, make sure it's 12-point font, and now we're good to go. So this is correct. No period here. This one doesn't have a DOI, so you got the retrieved from. So this is absolutely correct. Now, if you take a look at, let me close out of this. I want to close out of this. Let's get back to our LibGuide here. If you take a look at the APA Citation Center, I do have an example of what an APA research paper should look like. So if you select that sample that says sample paper, this is what it should look like. I don't know why everything is so slow today. It's just so slow. All right, so here we go. This is really important. In your research paper, you have to have the word running head on the first page. Your running head basically is the title of your page or a shorter title of your page. APA is very particular. Page numbers, top right. Don't put it top bottom, top left, top bottom left, but top right. You don't want to lose points off because you have your page numbers in the wrong place. Now you will notice on subsequent pages, you still have your title, but you don't have the word running head. It is known or it's accepted that we know that this is the running head. However, it needs to be on the first page. So I want to scroll down, take a look, running head, not the word, page number, top right, as I go through the same thing. I want to get to the reference page. So take a look at the reference page. Running head, page number, references is centered. And of course, all of your references are alphabetized by the last author or the first author in the citation, and they're alphabetized 1-inch margin, top, bottom, left, right, Times New Roman font, 12 point, and again, like I said, your 1-inch margin. So this is what your reference page should look like. Something else I want you to keep in mind. Remember how I talked about or briefly stated that any well-written research paper needs to have in-text citations. So if you want to see examples of in-text citations, this example, this research paper has a plethora of in-text citation examples. So here's one here. You have Butler and Kraut, 2002. And then if you have Cummings, Butler and Kraut, 2002. And then you have them throughout the paper. So if you just want an example of in-text citations, this is a good example of that. Because remember, like I said, there are various ways to have in-text citations, but in order to write a well-written research paper, you have to have in-text citations. And if there's any doubt about citing, I always tell students, if it is intellectual data that you did not create, make sure you cite it. So now let's get back to the LibGuide. I remember these are some examples. And I also have some videos here to help you with your citing.
Welcome to Citing Sources using APA.
Some of the videos are very well done. It talks about et al. When you have 3 to 20 authors. It talks about DOIs, and all of the videos are relatively short. So you can take a look at some of the videos to assist you as well. And don't forget about these examples, because I also give you an example of in-text citation again and what the reference page should look like. So this is how it should look in your paper at the references part, and this is an example of the in-text citation. So, and make sure you take a look at it, because when you get to authors like 3 to 5 and 6, 7, 8, even 20 authors, there is a specific way that you need to list that in your in-text citation. So you don't list all their names in the citation. You only list the first one and then et al. Depending on how many number of authors you have. So make sure you take a look at this, because this will definitely help you with your citing. So now I have pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover, particularly with citing, because I know when you take an online class, sometimes it's really hard to get information about citing. So now, does anyone have any questions in particular about citing some of the databases that we looked at? I do want you, and I think I have it on here. Let me find it. Let me see. All right. So one last database I want you to remember is the Science Direct database. You can get some really good articles in this database. Let me see. Did I remember? Oh, I'm sorry, I hate typing, so I was trying to be lazy and just type in the topic, but I guess I didn't cut and save like I said I was. All right, so here we go. Health disparities in the United States. Now, one thing I like about this database is that most of the hits are full text, which is very nice. So we looked at health disparities in the United States, all right? So these are some really good articles, and this database works just like the other databases. One thing I do like is that for relevance with date, I would recommend that you hit your date relevance. That way you can make sure you get all of the updated articles first, and then you just get to the other articles. I do like that feature better. One thing to be, if you don't get anything else out of this session, one thing I do want you to start doing is when you're doing your research, and let's say you have a particular class or whatever, even for this class, start strategically saving your articles in one place. Because if you have your articles in one place, think about it, you can also use those articles for other projects, right? So let's say I'm interested in this article. I want this article. What you do when you open the PDF, make sure you scroll until you highlight this little menu, and just go ahead and save the article directly to your desktop or your laptop. Change the name of the article so you can know what the article is. So this one is called Insoluble. So I'm just going to type Insoluble, right? And I'm going to hit enter. So I know I have this article saved in my designated area. So I need you to start strategically thinking about doing that. So when it's time for you to get all your research, you can have everything in one place and not go crazy about you had this article, you don't remember where you put it. Start strategically thinking about saving it and putting things in one particular place. Okay, so that is basically all I have. Do you all have any questions or anything else I can show you?
No.
So I hope this was helpful. And keep in mind, if you come across an article and if you can't find the full text of the article, make sure you email me the DOI or send me the APA citation and I'll get it for you. Please don't spend money and buy an article. You don't have to do that. Send me the citation and I'll get it for you. And if I can't get it, I'll definitely let you know, hey, interlibrary loan, or I was not able to find it. All right, so if you guys don't have any questions, I'm trying to be respectful of your time. So we finished a little early, so I am done. I'm going to email you because I have a list of those who attended. I'm going to email you a very brief assessment. Please take the time to complete it for me. All right, so if you don't have any questions, guys, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys
Thank
are
you.
welcome. You're welcome. I hope this was helpful.
How do you get out of this thing?